We all know that about 71% of the Earth's surface is covered with water, and more than 80% of it remains a mystery to this day. It is only natural to expect some hidden secrets, like unknown creatures or unexplained phenomena, to lurk in the vast ocean's unexplored corners. You must have heard of many conspiracies surrounding the ocean, like the Bermuda Triangle, the Devil's Sea, or the Mariana Trench, and the numerous explanations the internet has created surrounding it. One such oceanic mystery, called the bloop, has already been solved by scientists with a certain explanation, despite people still creating fantasy around it, and we're here to break it down for you. So let's begin. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means an awful lot. Thank you, and let's begin. The discovery of the bloop. It all started in the grilling summer of 1997 when U.S. scientists detected a weird sound picked up by their underwater hydrophones in the south of the Pacific Ocean. These hydrophones were the Sound Surveillance System, or SOSUS, planted underwater by the U.S. Navy to detect Soviet submarines during the Cold War. However, after the end of the war, these hydrophones were repurposed for U.S. scientific studies and research. The sound was picked up several times by these hydrophones during that summer season before it just entirely disappeared and was never heard again. No one was able to understand this bizarre sound coming from the depths of the ocean, and then began a long-running chain of speculations by the normal public and nature enthusiasts, along with intense research by scientists from all over the world. Why is it called the bloop? This noise was named the bloop by the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA, as the onomatopoeic representation of how it sounded when it was increased for a higher frequency and sped up 16 times more than the original one. The researchers at NOAA used a spectrogram analysis technique to understand the sound's frequency over several years, and also compared it to other similar sounds and phenomena that occurred before in the ocean, all in hopes of finding its source. Other than being fairly new to the human ears, this sound was also in an ultra-low frequency, but at great range and volume, to the point that it was picked up by the hydrophones that were about 3,219 kilometers apart from each other. This catchy name was perfect for the internet, as it took little time to spread around and get popularized among the general public and researchers alike. What is the bloop really like? It is no news that there have been many mysterious sounds already detected in the ocean. There are still several sounds that have not yet been deciphered or explained and remain the subject of numerous conspiracies in the strange world of the internet. But this bloop sound was a bit different. What set it apart was that its frequency was so low that it wasn't possible for us humans to catch it. The sound that has spread around the internet, and that what we hear today, is a sped up version of it and altered by the scientists for it to be adaptable to human ears. After this modification, the sound was like a falling water droplet. It wouldn't be accurate to call it a droplet, though, unless it looked like a gigantic rock falling into shallow water. If you ask me, it sounded like an underwater burp for some sort of fish. It lasted for around a minute, and it wouldn't have been that important if it wasn't so exceptionally loud, to the point that it crossed such a vast distance between the located hydrophones. Theories and speculations. As was expected of the ever-active internet world, the bloop became the subject of discussion, imaginary assumptions, online research theories, and the basic trend that either scared people of the deep depths of the ocean, especially people like me with thalassophobia, or made them try to find realistic and logical explanations. Some scientists thought that it may have some sort of large sea creature that has not yet been discovered. The then NOAA CEO, Dr. Christopher Fox, once expressed his hunch, or you may say his basic assumption, of this sound as coming from some aquatic animal due to its changing frequencies. His theory was backed up by a Boston University marine biologist named Phil Lobel, and that was it. Only two scientists expressed their assumptions, and it was enough for the internet. What was once a hunch blew so out of proportion that the internet was crowded with multiple theories about this supposed sea creature. One artist named Jeff Chang even created an art of this trending imaginary creature and called it the Leviathan Revisited. This same picture was then used in almost all the content that talked about the apparent bloop creature. maybe including the one you're watching right now. This creature was thought to be truly gigantic in appearance, as such sound intensity and low frequency can only come from a source that is way larger than the whales. With the discovery of a new whale species floating ashore off the New Zealand coast, these theories only got stronger, along with the rise of question and fear of how much we don't know about the planet we live on and what kind of threats exist in those dark depths we so casually ignore. While this giant creature theory was more popular, some did not flow away with a generic consensus and tried finding logical explanations, like some secret military exercises or ships. Nonetheless, this mystery of a sound sparked many theories, debates, and discussions on the internet. What do scientists say? Now that we've discussed the theories of the great geniuses of the internet, who even went as far as to call this creature the revived Leviathan from the mythologies, let's understand what the researchers who truly went out of their way to the depths of the ocean have to say about this sound. The scientists from NOAA's Pacific Marine Environmental Laboratory, or PMEL, first analyzed all the technicalities of the sound, modified it to a level of human hearing, speeding it up to the level where it makes that bloop sound, and studied its frequency and propagation patterns. They went ahead and deployed many more hydrophones near Antarctica and the Pacific Oceans to study if the sound is related to volcanoes or earthquakes. They also monitored other sounds from the Earth to find the similarities between them. It was even compared with the animal sounds from underwater as well as on the ground. Scientists from all over the world were intrigued to find the source of this sound, almost as eager as the internet folks. The underwater stations near the Pacific were always on alert to gather more data and provide as much information as possible to find the source. After many years of studies and research, the scientists disappointed all the animal theorists who were almost ready with their Leviathan fanfic novels. This conclusion wasn't as amusing as the giant monster theory, much to the relief of all the thalassophobics who had already sworn not to even look at the ocean. So after the long-going drum rolls, the scientists concluded that this mysterious sound was actually formed by the ice quake. This is the result of the icebergs that first break off from the Antarctic glaciers, then fall into the water, then crack away, and eventually melt and assimilate into the ocean. With the rise of global warming, more glaciers melt and more ice falls into the ocean every year. The scientists were able to record a sound of ice calving into melting glaciers and found that these were very similar to the bloop sound that had become this grand mystery. This answer disappointed many internet folks who supported the theory of sea creatures, and there are many people who still support that complex animal theory more than believing in the uncomplicated sounds of the earth. It proves the vast imaginative capacity of human minds that can create such heinous creatures out of thin air and believe in them more than scientific explanations. It reminds us of the vastness of the sea and how little we actually know about it. Notice how long it took us to find out the cause behind a minute-long sound and how vulnerable we still are. Despite all the technology in front of the ocean, how would we deal with it if the sound was more complicated, or if an actual creature truly presented itself in the ocean? This also raises awareness about global warming and the rapidly increasing rates of glaciers melting that should be taken seriously. It's not only sound. The scientists have accumulated multiple sound records of mysterious sounds like the bloop, and many of those are still being researched about. One such sound is the infamous slowdown, which was picked up by the hydrophones in May of the same year as the bloop. This sound was heard for a total of 7 minutes, and weirdly, it slowly decreased in frequency towards the end, hence the name. It seems to be originating from the west of South America and kind of sounds like an aeroplane flying further away from you. While the scientists are sure about the bloop sound source, they're still not certain about the slowdown, although it is also speculated to be the result of icebergs grounding in Antarctica. We can't say anything for sure, so this one remains an ongoing mystery of the complicated planet we live in. Marvelous verdict. Before the rise of the internet, these kinds of mysteries were left for scientists to figure out, but in today's viral world of trends and explainer videos, common men have taken it upon themselves to solve these mysteries with their own theories and research. It is certainly entertaining to read and watch those spicy theories surrounding such mysterious phenomena, and still some of these imaginary quests also spread misinformation and lead the population to believe in these imaginary answers that are often far from the scientific reality. We've tried our best to segregate the fact from the fiction and tell you what the bloop is all about. There's still no harm in creating fantasy surrounding it as long as it remains in the imaginary world and doesn't doesn't hinder the risky work that scientists put in to find the answers. Let us know your thoughts on this bloop sound and tell us about the other mysteries that intrigue your thoughts in the comments down below. If you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.